Hi friends, welcome back to the Keisha Tower Show. I think this is gonna be episode 2 of season 3, and today I kind of want to talk about my drinking journey, sobriety journey. It's just been a lot of thoughts, feelings, emotions, all the things to like process and on this journey of like breaking, I guess, societal norms when it comes to this stuff. And not only that, just like doing what's best for myself first and foremost, but then also my family. So I've been very open, honest, transparent with the troubles that I've had with alcohol in general. And I started, just to kind of recap, I started drinking at like a super early age, like super early, like 13, I was getting drunk. Feeling the void of like, wanting to like feel loved, wanting to feel normal. And that just kind of obviously led into, for me, alcohol was the gateway to a lot of other things. But alcohol was always the problem for sure. And again, I think I've said it before on one of the other episodes, for me, I've been very much predisposed to basically just like alcoholism because it runs very heavy on both sides of my family. And for sure, at one point, I was definitely in the throes of alcoholism. And I think it's just crazy, right? It's just one of those things that, right, we definitely normalize the drinking of alcohol. And like I said before, I'm not trying to be right, I'm not trying to be wrong. This is simply like my experience, my journey. If you drink every day, I don't give a shit. If you don't drink ever, I don't give a shit. Like, this is not casting judgment on anybody. This is just kind of sharing my struggles and my journey with it in general. It's hard when everything and everyone around you is pushing the narrative of drinking or numbing or filling a void without actually feeling. And I personally used alcohol, and in my younger days, like other drugs, for all of the wrong reasons. I don't think there's really a right reason to use it. There's a healthy way to use it, like, right? There's like a healthy way to indulge in, technically drugs and alcohol, really. I was definitely, and I never had until recently, used or digested alcohol in a way of not numbing. So, again, just recapping, I got to the point in general where I couldn't do it any longer. And not only that, there was like a deeper intuition, like a deeper knowing that I needed to stop drinking to literally change my life around. My ex and I were like, we hadn't been connecting and we were no longer connecting, and the only thing that kind of brought us together was, the alcohol, and that was like not feeling good to me anymore at all. So I just knew, and I think I was right. I was like simultaneously like scared, for sure scared, because I knew when I stopped, it would just open my eyes up to a world that I quite literally had never seen before since the age of 13. I mean, I've from 13 to 34, from 13 to 34, I mean, I drank pretty continuously, heavier at times, for sure, throughout, like, situations, environments, but that has been the continuous, like, hindrance in my life, for sure. And, you know, at 34, I was like, okay, like, I've got to stop this. Like, I can't, like, there was so much knowing inside of me that, like, this is not the life I was supposed to live. And that's hard to, like, to know that your life is about to change, that, you're about to uproot every single thing that you know. You're about to get real fucking uncomfortable. Like, none of that inherently, like, feels good, right? So, stop drinking. I can't, it's September 18th or 19th. For some reason, I can't ever remember the day. It was 18th or 19th, 2022 is when I had stopped drinking. And September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months later, you know, through those 6 months, I had done, like, deep-ass diving into, like, what I wanted, like, you know, because it's more than just me at this point, right? Like, at this point, Max and I, we had 3 kids, we had a house, we had 20 years together. I mean, you know, it was a lot. But as I previously said, I mean, we had been disconnecting and disconnected for, like, a very, like, long time. And I just knew that this was going to be, like, the missing piece. Like, this was going to be, like, the courage, I guess, that I needed to push forward. So, you know, 6 months after I stopped drinking, I got the courage to, like, ask for a separation, a trial separation. And then 3 months after that, we had finally decided on divorce. And then our divorce was final in December of 2023. And I genuinely, like, looking back now to where I'm at, I know myself too well at this point. I'm too fucking aware, which can be problematic at times. I'm too fucking aware that if I had been actively drinking at that time, I would have got myself into a world of fucking trouble. Like, I know that. Like, it is insane to me how much I know what my life would have looked like had I continued to drink through that time. Because I was dealing with emotions that I had never, like, felt or experienced before. I mean, just, like, the sadness and the hurt and the grief and the disconnect and the isolation. And not only that, I think, like, the flip side too of that is I had also never experienced, like, joy and happiness to the magnitude in which I experienced because I wasn't drinking. You just feel on a whole other level when you're not numbing. And I'm very thankful that I, like, felt and dealt with. And it's not just, like, acknowledging the emotions, right? It's, like, literally fucking being so deep in them, but not willing to stay stuck in them. Because you can stay stuck, right? Like, you can stay stuck, and you can stay stuck there forever. And, like, I didn't want to do that, but it's also one of those things where it's like, okay, I can't rush this. So I remember I was so sad, probably from March until June of last year. It was just, like, dealing with this, like, understanding my, like, new reality and like what that looked like in that moment. I mean, if I was drinking, I would have drank every day. I would have drank myself drunk. I would have drank myself to a blackout. I mean, I was engaging in like drinking and driving. I probably would have done something fucking stupid. Like, I can't even, like, you're right, you can what if all day, but just like, I just think if I hadn't like stopped, it could have became very problematic and suffered like a lot of consequences for me at that point. And not only that, kind of, you know, is probably around May of last year, I took over. So when he and I first separated, we had a different agreement for about 2 months about the kids, and it was split pretty half and half for like 2 months. And then I was like, okay, I need the house to myself. Like, you're gonna have to find somewhere else to live. And then from that point, I took over having the kids 80 to 90% of the time. And I mean, I had to be there for them. Like, I had to hold space for myself, and I had to hold space for them. And like, it's already a hard enough situation, right? Like, I couldn't imagine adding alcohol into it at that point when collectively, like, myself and the kids were like all going through something like very monumental and life-changing. And I felt like, and when I tell you I felt, I would like, I would go on the porch and I would just cry and bawl, and the kids would come out there, and I would not hide it. I would not hide that, because like, they need to know that like, emotions are okay, and it's okay to cry. Like that's a healthy way to cope, right? Like, if I wasn't crying and I was drowning myself in a beer, like, that's not healthy. But like, crying is a healthy way to like cope with these big emotions that we're feeling. Like, after they would go to bed, I would like literally go outside and just like cry. And this was like in the very early stages of like the separation and stuff. And like, I would see them like look out their window and they would see me, but like, I would never try to like hide that. And I think that, right, because when you show someone those like raw, vulnerable emotions, like, it gives them the permission to be like, okay, like, this is okay. And you open up a world of like safe space for them to be able to like feel their shit. And not only that, like, they'll come to you, right? Like, they'll come to you with little stuff, big stuff, if they know that like you're a safe space for them. And like, you can have big emotions, and it's like okay to have big emotions without like a bad reaction, so to speak. So I would never like hide that. And I think like, looking back now, I'm like proud of myself for sure, for feeling my shit, for showing them like how I coped with it, talking them through it. I was very open about the fact that not drinking, especially like my oldest Raylan, she was very, 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 and she's aware now. Like, we've talked about it, that like I drink a little bit here and there now, but she's like curious, and like I tell her, you know, I think I've alluded before, like, growing up, alcohol always looked fun, and I like couldn't wait to be able to like indulge in that. But like, the shit that I experienced and the things no one like warned me about was, you know, I genuinely don't remember like experiencing people having like hangovers, which good for them. My hangovers hit terrible, and obviously the older I got, the worse they got. The anxiety, the hangxiety, like the brain fog, the just like literally taking like 3 days to recover from a fucking one night out, and then it's like repeat cycle. Like, I just was not, like, no one told me about that shit. And I like talked to the kids about that. I talked to, you know, specifically Raylan, because she's the one that has the more questions right now. But I don't know, I'm honest and open to like a fault with them. And I hope one day that they'll like appreciate that, for sure. But like I said, I'm very thankful that I stayed sober throughout, because not only that, like, I wanted to have, like, especially going through like one of the hardest things in my life, I wanted to have like a clear, fresh brain. Like, I did not want to be like bogged down by anything. I did not, I felt like in that moment, I just needed to be like on top of my game, and I needed to have as much clarity as I possibly could, without being like under the influence. And I'm so thankful for that. So thankful. Fast forward to now. So I had 18 months completely without alcohol. And probably for the 3 to 4 months prior to me actually drinking, I had been expressing to people around me that I felt like I wanted to. And that made them very nervous, which is completely understandable. I think I told, like the person that I'm like seeing now, I think I told him first. And I told like a handful of like trusted friends, that I was considering it. Almost all the concerns were the same, pretty much. Just like, are you sure that's a good idea? Like, do you need support from us? Like, what do you need from us? They were like, I'm not sure that I'm okay with that. At one point, it was, he and I were at a dinner at one point, and I was like, maybe, and he was like, nope, it's not the right time. And I'm like, glad that like he was aware enough to kind of be like, this is not correct for you. And I was just like, okay, fair. Like, and it wasn't like a controlling thing. It was just like, I'm definitely recognizing like this is not the right opportunity for you to like drink. And I was just like, fair. The person that I'm seeing now and I ended up going to like a little area downtown. It's called Nulu, and it's just like this cute little space, and I was like, I think I'm ready. And he was just like, okay. And not that I needed his permission at all, because I didn't. But I like fully felt like he was going to like help me kind of through it. So I had 2 beers, and he checked in with me like before, like, are you sure? Does this feel okay? Does this feel good? Is anything like, tell me all your feelings coming up about it. Extremely supportive. Even like during, he was like, does this feel okay? Like, same type of questions. And then after, like, we came home, and he was just like, is it okay? Like, how are you feeling? And I was just like, I think after is kind of when it like maybe set in like a little bit differently for me, because previously when I was drinking heavily, I couldn't just like go out and have like a couple drinks and then come home, because like I wanted to drink more when I got home. I wanted to like keep the party going, keep the buzz going. I did not have that feeling this time. But I was like, that's different. Like, that's a good different, but it was like different. And I was just like kind of processing the fact that I was just like, over the course of, we were out for 5 hours. I had 2 beers. I was cool. It was chill. I wasn't upset about it. And then just like processing the feelings with after the fact, like, okay, like I can be okay to like do this and like not come home and be like an idiot about it. And even the next day, he checked in, and because I personally was worried about the next day of like, right, it's like you have this benchmark of like 18 months. It was like literally 18 months in a couple days. I mean, that's a lot of days without you know, alcohol. And for me, I was just like, am I going to be upset that I like ruined this streak and that I like fucked up this benchmark? I was very nervous. I was going to have like guilt and shame surrounding it. I would say that I had a little, but like the longer that I've like sat with it and processed it, I am cool with it. Because, to be quite frank, I don't give a fuck what like anybody thinks about what I'm doing in my life. And if this feels good for me and I'm doing it in a healthy way and I'm not going back down the path that I went down before, then I'm okay with it. Because I think, right, we have this like, you are either like all in with drinking or you're like nothing at all, and there like really can't be an in between. And even as I say that out loud, that's like, there are so many people that are in the in between and okay with being in the in between, but like I think I had to be okay with like being in the in between. Like, I don't have to like completely stop, and I don't have to be a fucking alcoholic. Like, I can be this like in between, because I'm not using alcohol to numb emotions. I'm not using alcohol to like not feel. I'm not using it in those ways anymore. And I've only drank on 3 occasions. The first one was when we went out. For some reason I can't remember the third one, but I know that there was a third one, but I can't remember. The other time, which I think the last time I drank was a month ago, and it was the first Friday in May. There was like a big party for the horse races going on surrounding the Derby, and we all went to my grandparents' house, and I had 3 drinks. And I was actually feeling a little buzzy, obviously, after 3 drinks when you haven't drank for that long. Instantly stopped, because I did not want to feel like that. I had my kids. Stopped drinking like 4 hours before we left. And I was still okay with the drinks. I was having a hard time being okay with feeling buzzed, because instantly when I get to that point, it's like, okay, turn up. But like, I wasn't wanting to. I recognized it, I was aware of it, so I just like stopped, and like I was okay with stopping. Even after that, right, like the next day, I felt perfectly fine. I had so much brain fog and I had a headache, and I'm just like, absolutely not. Like, this is not like what I want. This is not like what I want to do. And like, this is not it for me. And I haven't drank since then. I've had opportunities to drink, but I haven't drank since then. So it's been like a little over a month. And for me, that is like so refreshing, right? It is so refreshing that I can be okay with not drinking for a month. My life does not revolve around a beer. Knowing that I have already made plans in the future to like go to brunch with my friends, and I have told them that I want to have a glass or 2 of champagne, mimosa, whatever. And I don't feel bad to like ask them still in the beginning stages here to like hold me accountable or like check in with me. Like, I appreciate that from them. Like, I definitely feel very confident with myself and my ability to recognize. I just hope that I'm always like that. Because, right, like, I'm obviously not naive to the fact that it could take just one time and I could be right back to where I was before. I think the life I'm building now and the person that I am with now would never support that. I would never support, I mean, I don't want that. I'm saying, like, I don't want that. And I think knowing that the goals I have, the life I want to build, the person that I'm with, my kids, like, none of that is supportive of me living a life of, like, being an alcoholic or drinking in excess. And, like, that's just me personally. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm learning to be okay with, like, being in that in between and still figuring it out. And also being okay with the fact that if for some ungodly reason, which I genuinely, in my gut, my intuition, like, I do not feel I will ever get out of hand, because it's not something that I'm, like, desiring. It's not something where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait till the weekend to, like, have a beer, or oh my God, I can't wait to, like, have a glass of wine. Like, I'm not living for that, right? Like, I think it becomes problematic when you're, like, living for that drink. Again, my experience only. Like, if you're living for your drink, do the damn thing. I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck about your life. Like, but I just think for me, like, I don't want to, like, live for the drink. I want to have, like, other fucking, like, badass experiences in life. And if my goals and my dreams and my dream life can be complemented with a drink or two, then great. Like, fantastic. But I'm just not willing to, I'm literally not willing to, like, go back down that dark hole that I was in at all. Because all it was it was just masking my true feelings, and it was just masking my emotions. And one of the things that I have become super fucking confident with is, so, like, one of my favorite words is no. I literally have no issue telling people no. And if I feel like I need to have a fucking drink, or I want to have a drink before I, like, go somewhere, then I don't belong in that environment. If I feel like I need to have a drink to, like, fit in, then I don't belong in that environment. If I feel like I need to, like, have a drink to cope with someone, then I don't, like, belong in that person's presence. If I feel like I need to, like, drink to mask a situation or an environment, then I don't belong in that situation or environment. So I'm still trying to figure things out, but I'm overall okay with where I'm at now. This is gonna make me sound so fucking old. But I don't drink, like, I will never drink to get a buzz, or I will never drink to get drunk anymore. I drink to, like, taste it, and I know that sounds so fucking lame, but, like, I will never forget, like, those first 2 beers that I had after not drinking for that long. Like, they tasted so good. And I felt like I, like, appreciated it. And again, I fucking sound so old when I say that. it's a lot different when you're fucking pounding fucking drinks to get drunk, or taking shots to get drunk, and then you're literally all of a sudden 36 years old fucking enjoying the taste of a beer. It just, I don't know, it hits different for sure, definitely. And I don't know, like I'm happy. I'm happy with where I'm at. I am proud of myself for abstaining for 18 months to handle things in my life that I probably couldn't have done otherwise. I probably could have, but it would have taken longer or looked worse. So I'm very like proud of myself and appreciative of myself and thankful for therapying myself for many years to get to that point, because that just doesn't happen overnight, that's for sure. But I'm also like happy like with where I'm at now. Like I'm happy that if I want to have a drink, like if I genuinely want to, like I feel like I can have one and like be okay. And I'm still only doing this with like trusted individuals. Like there are boundaries in place. And right, like just to be real fucking clear, like in those 18 months, if I wanted to fucking drink, like I could have fucking drank, because my house still has fucking like 20 bottles of liquor here. I have a fridge in the outside garage that probably has like 100 fucking beers. Like, if I wanted to, like I could have, right? And that applies now. Like if I wanted to do that now, I could, but like I don't. And like that makes me feel good, because it's just like, right, if you think about like, you know, when you first start getting money and stuff and you're just like, or when you're a kid and you're like, I want to, you know, I gotta spend this money. It's like burning a hole in your pocket. Like that's how I used to feel about alcohol. Like, oh my God, it's here, I have to drink it. Oh my God, it's here, like I have to, like, it can't just sit there. Like I gotta drink it. And like that realization is like, bitch, like you were fucked up. You were fucked up for real. But like the boundaries that I have in place, specifically that like he and I have discussed, are just like obviously not drinking alone, which I don't want to do. Like there has been one time in the 18 months that I genuinely opened the fridge outside with all the beer in it, and I was like, I'm about to grab this beer and drink it. I'm about to grab this beer. And I like literally had it in my hand, and I was just like, what are you doing? Why do you need this? Like, why are you doing this? Like you don't need this. You don't. So I like sat there with it in my hand for, I shit you not, probably like 5 minutes. And I got so close to open, because in that moment, I remember the feelings that I was feeling. This was within the 18 months of sobriety. I had been working out in the yard. The kids weren't here. I was going through a lot of emotions at that time. I was like, I wasn't in a bad place, but I wasn't in a great place. And I instantly knew, like, as I'm sitting here, like, looking at this beer, that I'm gonna use it to numb, and I'm gonna chug it. I'm not gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna be pissed off at myself that I opened it, because after that one, it wouldn't have stopped. And like in that moment, I fucking 100% knew that. That's why I looked at it for so long, processed it, understood I was not in the place to be doing that, and then I put it back. And then I proceeded to walk out my backyard and scream as loud as I could. Like, I will never forget that moment. And I'm glad that I didn't. But like, right, like what makes it so different now? Again, I keep avoiding like the boundary piece. Not avoiding it, just other stories come up. But like not drinking at home, not something that I want to do. Only with trusted individuals. I think technically at this point, the only person I've drank with is him. I have been around other people, but he is there. And I think those are the big ones, right? And then like check-ins, right? Like you have to check in with me, and then I have to check in with you to like just make sure that we're good, we're chill, we're like on the same page, everything feels good still. And if it doesn't, then like we discuss it. And like I appreciate so much just like that open and internal dialogue, because like, right, like it's no one's job but my own. It's nobody's job to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's nobody's job to make sure that I'm like checking in with myself. So like I am forever grateful for the like healthy people around me that check in with me and are like, are you okay? How is this feeling? Like, do we need to talk about it? Do we even like in the next days, because like everyone knows I'm like an overthinker and stuff, and they're just like, okay, you know, it's been a couple days, like how are you still feeling? And like I said, I've literally drank 3 times. I've had I think a combination of like 7 or 8 beers. So like I'm like forever thankful for that. Forever thankful. And I'm thankful that like, I don't know. I'm just very thankful for the place that I'm at, like in my life right now, when it comes to just like a healthy relationship with alcohol, or trying to like get there. And if it doesn't work out, like, right, what's the, you know, if I go down the dark hole, if it gets bad, which I don't feel is going to happen, based on the support system I have, based on the boundaries I have in place, then I would just fucking stop again. Like I would fucking stop. And if it got really problematic, I would abstain forever. And I would have no problem with that. I would genuinely have no problem with that, because like I have built my life up so much, not only in the last 18 months, 2 years, but like I genuinely have a lot of things going for me. And like I see that and I realize that. And I'm like not willing to, like, not even a little bit, like I'm not willing to lose that. It just, I don't know, like things just really hit differently when you can see the world from like a different perspective, in terms of just like having a clearer brain and having like to be one of the main like caretakers for your kids, and having a love that you've like never had before. And so I'm just happy with where things are right now. I'm happy with like where my life is right now, and I'm also like happy in the sense of like knowing that it doesn't stop here, of like knowing that if I keep being like this like true person, like this authentic person to like myself, if I keep showing up as this person, like I am going to get everything that I've ever wanted in life. Because when you show up as like your true self and your authentic self, you attract the right things, the right people that align with your message, that align with your mission. And I see that. I have felt that shift, like in the past year and a half, I have felt that shift. Even the past 2 years, since like, you know, it's almost been 2 years since I like started all this. And while some of it has been hard as fuck, right? Like, I think for me, one of the big things is that I have learned is, right, we're not just riding at this like fucking like stabilized mood anymore. We're not just like having mundane experiences in life. Like, in order to have joy and happiness, you have to be able to experience like sadness and grief and like the lowest of lows, so you can experience the highest of highs. And that doesn't mean your life should be like high and low at all, because that's not healthy. It just means that you have to be able to experience like this full spectrum of emotions. And I genuinely think, like, through my own experience, like, if you allow yourself to feel that, like, and break cycles and fuck up the societal norms and like do whatever the fuck you want and do what's best for you, and your life will just change for the better. Because when you step into that true version of yourself, there's no going back. There's literally no going back. You know what you're capable of. You know what life can show you, and you just experience things in a way that you've like never experienced them before. And that is like, I don't know, it's amazing, honestly. And I would not have experienced any of this had I not stopped drinking in September of 2022. So I'm very thankful that I allowed myself the space to like be sober, to feel, to heal, to be this version of myself and attract in life's biggest gifts. And I don't think life is done yet. I feel like at 36 years old, God, it's so fucking cheesy, but like a new lease on life, 100%. And I'm very thankful for that. So I think that's all I got for today. Didn't have any kids today, so I decided to come in the living room. So we'll see how that works sometimes. I hope you enjoy your week. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this has maybe given somebody permission to like be their true selves and do what they're supposed to do in life, do what they want to do in life. Because fuck what everybody else thinks. Love y'all. Bye.